by 1-0. And if you take a look at what that means at the top of the Premier League, remember, Liverpool don't play this weekend because they're in action in the Carabao Cup final. So there's just 2 points that separate the top 3 sides. Everyone's played the same amount of games with 12 matches to go. We knew it was going to be close, and it looks like it will go right down to the wire. What was interesting, Don, from this City game is that we've seen this quite a bit now, haven't we? Craig's talking about the fact that it's so impressive from Arsenal is that they're putting teams away, not giving them a chance. For City, they just leave the door open a crack.
Yeah, I've done a lot of their games last season, Dan, in the running, and the amount of games they won 2-1 or 1-0, and they kept it tight. You're seeing the same sort of thing now. I mean, Semenyo had a chance, Solanke had a chance. They give Bournemouth a sniff of getting something out of the game the last 15, 20 minutes, and the home side pressed. But still, they brought De Bruyne off the bench, and they could have scored more. I mean, when you watch Phil Foden play, I mean, it will be criminal if he doesn't get 100 England caps. I mean, this kid is something special. You can tell he's been coached by Guardiola. You can tell the way he takes it on the back foot. He's the same as Cole Palmer. He's a lovely player to watch. I thought Jon Stones was man of the match today. I thought he was sensational. He just plays everywhere. He plays as an 8, but he operates sometimes in behind or down the sides of Haaland and on the other side where Silva is. It's just a very functional side at the moment. They'll give someone a beating because they're a good side. But I think you're right in your analysis when you say, you know, they're just getting the job done. They are. But it doesn't matter with City. They do not mind winning 1-0 or 2-1 every single week. There's bigger games to come.
Do you know what's worrying about City? This is a team that we have recognised about the way they pass the ball and keep the ball. In the last half hour of this game, albeit Bournemouth throwing everything at them, they couldn't keep the ball. They kept giving it away. In fact, they were overrun in the middle of the park. When would we ever say that? That's got to be a concern. And it was down to some decent defending because Bournemouth never cracked them wide open and missed open goals. But at the same time, if you can't stop the opposition getting at you, if you can't stop Bournemouth getting at you, you've got a problem in the middle of the park defensively. Well, we all understand that Rodri can pass the ball for fun and Foden how great he is going forward. But you have to be able to defend in the middle of the park. And Man City completely disappeared in the last half hour of that game. You don't win the Premier League title if you're going to do that away from home.
I think 1-0, you know, these tight games that they're winning, which is 3 points, obviously fine, great, the juggernaut continues, but if you're winning 1-0 or 2-1 and it's close and it's you've missed a bunch of chances, but you've absolutely snuffed the other team out. You're not giving them... There's maybe been the odd ball over the top that they've hit and hope, and somebody's ran onto somebody or somebody's made a silly mistake and they've had a chance. That's not the case. It's not the case. They're giving up a lot more chances this season, and certainly than they were last, when they were sort of mega successful. And it seems that, and I've said this before on here recently, it seems that they've got away from that aspect a little bit, and it's almost like the lackadaisical, when they're attacking with all this possession, that there's a bit of switching off going on at the back. That being said...
Who's the best team in the Premier League at the moment?
Ultimately, City are the best team. Who's playing the best? I think Arsenal are playing the best at the moment. Look the most solid. But...
And is there any reason to believe that they can't do that from now until the end of the season, that Arsenal can't continue this run?
Well, the doubters would just say, well, look at last year. But I think last year was a big learning curve for them. Also, they were the only team that was in there with City. There was no other buffer. And Liverpool are in there. Well, Liverpool are top. But I think we'd all agree that City are still... I mean, City, whatever way you sort of put this together, for me anyway, whether we can sit here and debate who's stronger, Arsenal, Liverpool or whatever, until somebody puts their hand up and beats this City team with all their big players back, then it's an open-ended book.
Right.
I mean, it really is. I like Arsenal. I've liked Arsenal, but I like them at the moment even more because we've talked about these small issues that City have that might cost them. But Liverpool seem to be on a bit of a negative roll with injuries. And I think if that continues, there's no way they're going to be able to hang in there.
The only problem Arsenal's got is they can win every game and still not win it. I mean, that's the truth.
Well, they've got to play City still, haven't they? So that'll be key.
Yeah, but we're talking now, we're at the stage of the season where it's about winning games. You know, Bournemouth made City bend today, but they didn't break.
Right.
That's the only thing that matters. They didn't break. And they've got to break And if they don't, Arsenal don't win the league regardless.
Don?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think when you look at the fixtures from an Arsenal point of view, they'll go into every game confident because they're in a confident mindset at the minute. They're in that headspace where they think they can beat anyone, but they've got some hard fixtures in the run-in. Depends on how you see the stats. I mean, if you look at Man City's stats, they're close to 2.5 goals a game, but there's a lack of clean sheets, so they give up a goal a game, so you can get at Man City. It's never been a secret how you try and get at Man City, where you try and play on the counter-attack when they, commit loads of bodies forward. But I think you're going to have this conversation every other week. And as Stevie said, I think just wait until someone cracks first. At the minute, they're all flying, they're all winning. But someone's going to drop points somewhere, and then that's where you'll see the real metal. I think last year's Arsenal, I thought at one point last season, they got really emotional. I think they were a very emotional side, emotional manager. I think that's what cost them. They look a little bit calmer, I think, this season.
Whatever it is for the neutral, it's going to be absolutely brilliant, isn't it?